But another key finding which fed my interest in prevention is that very often these claims, when you read all the information, you could see that they hadn't come out of thin air. They'd had a long background. A person had been very upset, angry, disgruntled for a long time. In I think the majority of cases, a significant number of cases, and in their words, they had been calling it out and feeling that there was no way to be heard and that they were ignored, or that the problems that they were reporting were persisting. And a disproportionate number of these claims came from people who had lodged a complaint or a grievance. And the person who lodged the complaint ended up being psychologically unwell and off work because of the lack of response, the lack of closure, the lack of acknowledgement, the lack of being told that there'd been an outcome. And I found it frustrating because sometimes you could see that there had been an outcome. And with bullying claims, there had been an outcome, but the processes that are adopted, and HR professionals will recognize this. I know there's confidentiality issues and so on, but the process were adopted didn't include closing the loop with the complainant, and didn't include, as I could see, thanking the complainant very much for bringing up an issue. So one of my big hopes is in this new environment with its new regulatory structure, organisations should start going, thank you so much for letting us know about these problems. But the attitude of employers in the main was disappointingly very negative. And so we saw things like they made contact with people who'd gone off on workers' comp for psych injury far less often than if you'd broken your leg. They tended to say this was a problem employee. They tended not to offer a graded return to work far less often than they did for physical injury. So the very people that were feeling the most isolated and vulnerable were the ones who got the least support from employers. And the other thing I felt strongly about is there doesn't seem to be this, like I think, and I'm not a work health and safety professional or an HR professional, but so I think if someone tripped on a trip hazard and injured themselves, that would find its way to the WHS team, and someone would look at that trip hazard and make sure that it doesn't happen to anyone else. I didn't see that kind of link with the psych claims. I didn't see someone going, oh, we understand our grievance process is so brutal, it's driving people to their GP. And people would go to their GP and go, I don't know what's the matter with me. I can't sleep. I'm so angry. And the GP would go, work-related mental illness. And there you go. You've medicalised what was often an industrial relations issue. And worst thing that could happen for the poor people involved.